The Comedy Store would like you to know that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are strictly those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by the Comedy Store and its affiliates.
This is it, guys.
Live from the world-famous Comedy Store. It's Tuesday morning here at KMM The Max.
KMN. I don't know what that stands for. God, that made me dizzy doing Laugh Girl.
Where's Mitz?
I gotta be honest. We might have Argus come down. So
I hope he shows up.
If you, people have asked to have Argus on. They've also asked for dueling Arguses.
Yeah.
And he just won't go for it. Do you think we can get him to go for it today?
Well, it just depends, I guess, on whether he wants to be on The Tonight Show.
What if I do Mitzi? Argus. Seriously.
We might send him into some sort of a shame spiral. If he gets aggressively attacked by Mitzi and himself, I mean, that's like end-level Shadow Warrior shit.
My neck and my ass miss you. I like when you used to hold my neck and fuck me in the ass.
God,
that was the best.
those are the legends. Those are you don't get a lot of places where
you don't get a lot of
those
honest
are the stories
women.
About your boss.
Mitzi was honest. She was honest about her shit.
Tell us a Mitzi story about just what a power boss she was in the 90s. Like the type of shit where you're just like, that's a terrible decision, but awesome.
Oh, well, I wasn't there for this. Good thing. It could have been in the 80s, but somebody told me that she was driving home from La Jolla, and she had her maid who had been with her for like 17 years. She used to bring her back from L.A. to La Jolla.
She brought her maid with her to La Jolla.
Yeah, because she would clean the condos and the club, like do all her stuff. And she went, they were driving through, where they check your car in La Jolla?
Yeah.
I guess it used to be a little more
the immigration checkpoint
back in the day.
They didn't do the white people wave through originally.
They didn't, now they just go like this, we don't care.
Yeah.
Before, I guess they checked her papers and she didn't have any.
Wow.
And they detained her and Mitzi was like, bye.
Peace. Listen, 17 years of work cleaning her house. Gonna have to find someone new. Not going to be bothered by INS issues.
Yeah. I do kind of believe that she fired also Mike Becker, who was here that long, if not longer, because he had a hip replacement and he couldn't make it up and down the steps anymore. I can't say for sure that's why, but it was coincidental.
Eric Griffin does that bit of make sure you can do the job you're supposed to do.
Okay.
And
he's not wrong.
Yeah. The premise is like if you can't walk up the stairs, then you shouldn't have a job where you have to bring stuff upstairs.
That's true. I don't know if I know this bit of Eric's, but
yeah, it's fairly new. It's good.
In all honesty, like, fuck yeah. I've seen people being like, yeah, my back, I can't bring it out. It's like, no, you can't leave it here.
Then you find a different job.
Yeah. With like a Uber Eats bullshit, right?
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. Hey, could you come down and meet me in front of the building? No.
Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
I've never used them.
Me neither.
I've never ordered food.
Yeah, I've never had food delivered to my house.
I always go get it. I don't know why.
When I order a pizza, I pick it up, carry out.
Same.
I don't need some creepy pizza delivery guy knowing where I live.
It's not even that. I mean, I didn't think of that. I could get laid.
Yeah,
it could be like a porn.
Suddenly, Eleanor started ordering delivery.
Pizza every night. And he comes with the mustache. That'd be hot.
My God, this
I don't
fantasy
know why
is...
it's that. But
is this Mario from the video game?
It's Mario. It's not Mario.
Eleanor, it is I, Mario.
I will be in Philadelphia for a while, so if anybody says Mario,
shout out to the Mario.
Oh, is our guest here?
Some rotating guests today.
Oh, hi. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we got 20 minutes with Sarah Tiana.
I know who that is.
We love this, Sarah Tiana. We had a cancellation, and I'm thrilled you're here. When I got here, I looked, and I was like, fuck, Sarah's on the lineup. Like, I didn't look because I had an outsider, if you will.
Oh, you had an outsider.
Well, she's not an outsider, but she's going to come and do the podcast. I don't want to kind of give it away. She was here in the 90s.
Love it.
Just haven't been here. How are you, Sarah Tiana?
I'm great.
You look nice and bundled.
Yeah, very bundled.
Full
I was just thinking I should take
She's still a World Series champion. She's
oh,
just
yeah. Where's your hat? I saw your cute little hat. How exciting.
I had to take it off to come here.
So professional.
You're like, I will brush my hair. You might get bumped out of here by Argus. How does that feel?
Oh, that would be great.
What a lineup.
I know.
This is top shelf.
Argus goes after. I can give him an intro because I give him lots of intros.
Oh, you're gonna get the kiss. It's all gonna be magical.
Oh yeah.
The Will Rogers of the Comedy Store. I got it all down pat.
Have you been?
Someone was asking me about that recently, and they go,
"Did you just really say that?"
That's what he has me say. Yeah.
That's really what he requests.
That's why I get That's why I didn't get the opening spot, because he would say, "Oh well."
Robin Williams said he was the Will Rogers of the baby boomers.
Okay, so what is your intro for him? How does it go?
I'm very excited to bring this next guy to the stage. He's a legend here at the Comedy Store.
You got to throw it in.
He's been here since 1976. He's been on the Tonight Show more than any other comedian, and he's the Will Rogers of the Comedy Store, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome.
That is perfect.
Every millennial in the room was like, the what?
The what? They're Googling. You see all their faces light up.
And then he comes out and they're like, okay.
Yeah, I guess. So that's a Will Rogers.
Is that him?
That's him.
Seems like he's on a horse.
He's got a park.
He definitely parked a horse and put on some rouge and came in.
This guy's best friends with a horse.
Well.
Oh my gosh! Here's the thing. I was just talking to Dice, and he goes, "How many times did Argus do the Tonight Show?" And I go, "What made you think of that?" He goes, "I was just talking about him, and I was saying how he could have been the next Johnny Carson, and that he watched him in real time hosting, as you know, he was a guest host, and he was like, wow, that's my roommate."
Yeah, it's weird.
That's creepy as shit.
That is weird.
Yeah, his fucking roommate was. Wow.
Dice told me a story once on the road when I'm like, so when you guys lived at Crest Hill, I was like 23 and I just wanted to soak in all the stories. So were you guys partying all the time or what? And he's like, you couldn't leave a broad in the living room for 5 minutes because August would just clean her up. You'd be like, what?
Could you imagine the Argus stealing your girl? Like, because the Argus we know is different.
How this didn't become a sitcom.
He's always got a lot of girls.
Yeah,
he's constantly telling me.
My secretary.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always.
Her cousin.
I could see it.
There was a girl. I don't know if I should tell this story. He's saying it's Argus.
This is live. This is going out to.
You can wait and ask him.
I mean, it was funny, but she was a comic looking. She doesn't work here. She was just, and she said, I literally slept with him because I thought he'd get me a showcase. so she was honest,
Yeah, smart.
It's okay. But then they were talking afterwards.
Good call.
She's a Southern belle, very funny young lady. And they were talking, he always brings up the wigs and the Tories, whatever it is. I don't,
Classic history. Only Argus and Eliza are doing that. Is that too inside baseball for? Okay.
That is extremely inside baseball. I had no idea.
People aren't still talking about a hot topic from 3.5 years ago.
I'm so sorry. You're right. That's weird. But yeah, they started talking, and they looked in a book, and they found that they're related.
Oh dear.
Like distantly, but still, like enough. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So a Schubert's joke that in the South they do their family tree in pencil. Is that real? Somebody was sitting in waiting for Argus Hamilton to come down. I said, well, she's got to open the original room.
The original room at 9. Oh. Yeah. Well, you're not. Is he going to get a chair? Yeah. Okay.
Wait. So no, just let him sit for a second. If you have a minute, right?
A minute, yeah.
Come sit. Would you sit next to Sarah? She doesn't have
so nice.
She doesn't have cooties, Argus.
Well, I can't say that's for sure.
Daddy, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Argus, yeah, you're
exhausted, but good.
Yeah. Did you get any sleep at all?
A little bit, but now it's Thanksgiving break, so I got to deal with them all day.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
You think the kids are more considerate?
Have some stories.
Oh man.
I mean, there's going to be a time where our kids probably get arrested for something. I'm assuming the two boys.
Argus, do you feel superior to them? Because as myself as well, we don't have children. We're not like them. You know, this is like a separation here.
When I got here in 76,
okay.
Peter and Paulie
Right out
were
of the
like
gate.
8 and 6.
Okay.
Okay. And since I was like the mascot for a while, I mean, really, I was a genuine mascot for 5 years. Too.
What do you mean a mascot? Like to the
I was
club?
Missy's runner.
Right. I
was
see what you
MC
mean. Yeah.
And all that. And so I was always around, and I had the keys to her car, and she would send me around.
You had all her keys.
Los Angeles.
Pull that closer to you.
She would send me around Los Angeles right after she bought the building in 76, with her plans to, redecorate the main room.
Sure.
And she found a crooked assistant manager at Sherwin-Williams Paint. Promised him to be the assistant manager of the Comedy Store for a good deal on all the black paint.
That's
very Mitzi.
Yeah. And then they agreed, and so Mitzi sent me there to the Sherwin-Williams with her driver's license and a check, which is all you needed in the late 70s.
This is my favorite story. I know exactly where he's going.
I swear to God, this is true. And I gave them the driver's license. They looked down, they laughed. They said, "Oh, that Mitzi." I said, "What's wrong?" She'd taken a pencil and scratched out her birth year.
That's what I meant.
I said, "Nobody's business."
Not your business, Argus.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then right after Christmas that year, I bought the little boys racing sets and stuff like that, and we were cleaning up after the first weekend show, and Mitzi was in the lobby that afternoon after I'd picked up the kids at school and brought them to the store.
Legendary.
And Mitzi was rolling up the fake Christmas tree with butcher paper in the lobby. Paulie's 8 years old. He walks by and says, "Dude, you're going to smoke that whole thing?"
so good.
First punchline.
That's so Paulie.
I'm also proud of it.
You've been raised by the right people.
I'm sure Sammy stole it,
Yeah. He borrowed it from someone, but trickled down.
Great.
Good delivery.
That's so cute. Where you guys were all excited, carried him around the room, like, "Way to go, Paulie."
No, we all switched it. We didn't even let him know he said something funny.
Okay.
Smart. He's going to trying to get stage time early.
Mitzi would have him over at Westwood in 2 years cooking.
Him and Sam Kinison, right?
At home, he was 6, 7 years old, and believe me, he was the cutest kid since Alfalfa Schweitzer on the Little Rascals.
So
he was
funny.
adorable.
You know Alfalfa's last name?
I was thinking the same thing.
Same thing. I was like, "Is this a different person?"
Hey, I partied with Stymie in South Central. Trust me, it's the weirdest thing. You look over and you see he's next to you with the pipe and going,
"You kids, we got a lot of
Tyree, get me out of here." Anyway,
that's hysterical.
That's awesome.
it was nuts. And Paulie, she overloved Peter because Peter was the handsomest, most beautiful boy, Jewish prince you've ever seen in your life. Mitzi would give Ollie Joe and I $100 bill, and we would take them down to the saloon in Beverly Hills, great steakhouse, and the four of us would eat. Schooner beer, great old-fashioned steakhouse.
Yeah.
And stranger couples would come by and just pat Peter on the head, saying, "This is the most beautiful child we've ever seen in our life."
King. The king of the comedy store.
That's
what made him
became
funny.
A comic.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And that's
Rejection.
and Mitzi intentionally withheld love from him to make him funnier.
Wow.
She told me that.
Is that what it was?
She said, "She's a monster." I'm telling you.
That's intense.
That's good parenting. You guys, I hope you're taking notes.
Yeah, she told me that when he was like 12. I mean,
she's like, I'm doing this on purpose, Argus. You're like, all right, you're the boss. That's what you think we should do.
You're gonna be funny or not?
Yeah. This year, I feel like I'd be so famous if my parents would have just been more disrespectful.
Same.
Yeah,
if they would have just been
always
ruder.
kind.
But Peter got real satisfied with how women loved him, and 'cause there was this.
Who
just
would be
adored him.
satisfied by that?
I'm getting to one
But
point.
you're right,
I'll shut up. One point.
No, don't. That's
No.
great.
And when Peter was like 17, 18, I got two Peter stories. First of all, this beautiful brunette, gorgeous brunette, shapely, at Beverly High with him. Sweetest thing you ever met in your life.
Yeah.
Adored him. Would do anything for him. Was always up at the house. Say, "What can I do for you, Peter?" He didn't want that.
No, of course
Her
not.
name was Vicki Morgan. J.P. Morgan's great-granddaughter.
Oh my God!
Well
did
played.
Mitzi know? How did she? She would have
need to
made that
finance
happen.
She lived in the condo canyon in Westwood. Had her own condo at age 16 and was lonely, so she would
Right.
stay at the house.
I mean,
Jesus,
this might be the
Peter.
worst decision I've ever heard.
Yeah, I felt love from Peter.
Well,
He would
Peter.
have sought the
Then-
attention of females a little bit more.
But at least Paulie had
At
the
least
stage
last
aware.
names.
Paulie had stage awareness right away, not Peter. Okay?
Right.
Because Beverly Hills High School, if you're ever going to shoot a talk show pilot or something, they have a
Perfect.
fantastic 400-seat auditorium besides a regular auditorium. It was donated by a Jewish couple about, let's say, 45 years ago,
I can't think of their
with
names.
the stipulation that the school runs the Diary of Anne Frank every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a big stage on the floor and 400 seats going up. Acoustics perfect. We've performed theaters like that. We know how easy that is. It's great. Well, Mitzi brought Binder and me to go see Peter in his only role ever in the Diary of Anne Frank.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness!
He played a German soldier.
He played the
Wow.
diary.
He had one line.
Everybody
Okay?
wanted to
The
touch
place
him.
is jam-packed. It's the most gripping part of the play. And all of a sudden, Peter walks out leading 3 other kids. They're all dressed in German uniforms with German helmets. They're bigger than they
My
are.
God,
right?
yeah.
And I swear to God, Binder and I are sitting next to Mitzi. We're up there. And he goes, knock, 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 knock. And Peter says, dude, it's the Nazis.
No.
I swear to God.
God.
Binder and I, who are thoroughly, educated in Mel Brooks,
Yeah.
like this is the only thing Mel forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just hit the floor laughing. We are screaming. We are hysterical
Was
laughing.
Mitzi laughing?
We're the only ones in the auditorium laughing.
Yeah, that's
And the punchline is Mitzi says, "You fuckers, get up.
Get
Sit
up."
down and be quiet. That was beautiful.
That was perfect.
do no wrong.
Peter.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Why are you so funny?
Just like it was written.
just like it
Perfect
happened.
You're such a good German soul.
It's like I'm right there.
I swear.
Oh,
so
man.
good. Oh my God, that's so
That is an untreated Al-Anon. Okay.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Beautiful reading.
You said you had
Wow.
another Peter story. You said you had
No,
two.
that
was
was the
it.
second one.
And Vicky Morgan.
The first
Oh,
one
okay.
was Vicky
That one
Morgan,
hurts
the
me.
Morgan. That one hurts you. Yeah.
Argus still remembers her name, and this is 30 years later. He's like,
Yeah.
she's
Whatever
probably
happened to
still
her?
shapely.
I don't know, but in the time of natural beauty, she had it.
She had it
Wow. Wow.
before the lizard people of Hollywood took over.
Yes.
That's why people in L.A. love Thanksgiving, because it's the only time they get to see natural breasts.
Whoa.
Yes.
Look who's doing
Yes.
bits. Who's
This
on?
guy's done a talk show before. Argus,
Ar-
how many times were you honestly on the Tonight Show?
Yes.
Probably about 15 or 20.
Okay.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
15 or
Everyone,
20.
the numbers always differentiate when people say it. I'm like, I wonder how many times it actually was.
Somebody said
but
100.
I know, that's what
no,
it's
no, no. It multiplies probably easily up to 100 because I was on all the good shows. They always had me on Thursday night, and those are the shows they
yeah.
would run and rerun and rerun and rerun.
Oh,
Right.
so you're counting the rerun. Okay, I see what you're saying.
No.
Other people are maybe.
It would be up to 45 or 50 with all the reruns easily.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, how many times did you guest host?
Never guest hosted.
Oh, and what Andrew said he was watching in real time, like you guest hosting, or you, and he I was just telling them that he literally was looking at the TV
No.
going, "That's my roommate."
No, if I had it to do all over again, my chance was going to be when Joan Rivers went to Fox.
Yeah, Fox. So
Okay.
wait, so you were just on it as a comic?
I no, yeah, I was just on it as a comic,
you would
and they were
sit-
waiting for me to get sober. Okay, because
but you would go to the couch, right?
oh yeah.
Okay, maybe
But-
that's what
but-
he meant.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't until after I got sober that I became a contender,
Got it.
and Joan Rivers went over there, and that was a chance to start guest hosting.
Yeah.
But Leno swooped in really hard,
Oh,
really
yeah.
fast, and had Brandon Tartikoff on his side, the president of NBC,
Right.
the baby boomer.
Sure.
And so he became the permanent guest host, and Johnny did not like it.
Yeah.
Because
I
he
know.
could
'Cause
see
he
a
wanted
usurper
Letterman.
coming.
Yeah.
He wanted someone safe, like Joan Rivers, who
Right.
was Jewish and brilliant, and L.A. and New York loved
What
her,
about
and
Argus?
Johnny had
Argus is brilliant.
Well-
Maybe not Jewish.
He's got that
my mistake.
Oklahoma.
My mistake. If I could do it all over again, I would have had a meeting with Johnny right about the time Joan did that,
Yeah.
and said, "You can trust me."
Okay.
Yeah, I won't steal your gig.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well, wait.
to Jay's credit, he never said that.
Yeah.
But
He was
the
ready
gig
to steal immediately.
He was going to be he was replacing himself, I thought.
Johnny?
Yeah.
No, don't believe that he went willingly.
Got it.
Don't believe that at all.
Okay.
But they gave him such a golden parachute in exchange for shutting up about it.
Sure.
There was nothing else to
Yeah,
do.
he said, I'm going to be reclusive forever.
But it really rankled Johnny about Joan going to Fox because she had this. I mean, she was serious when she was making fun of her husband. He was an idiot. And he engineered this deal with Fox, and this was his chance to be relevant. Okay.
Right.
Johnny was so close to Joan that in 1980, when Johnny's contract ran out at NBC, he secretly negotiated with ABC over at Joan Rivers' house in her living room with Joan there. And they came up with this. ABC offered him $25 million a year for life if he would jump over to ABC.
Who would take such a deal?
That's a stack then,
and that was a lot of money in 1980.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's back when rent was $400 a month.
That's a lot of money right
now.
now.
It'll get you by.
yeah.
For a little bit.
But so Johnny went to the head of Universal. Who was the big Wasserman? Who went to Lou Wasserman and asked him for advice. And Wasserman said, if I were you, I would stay at NBC because the public is used to watching you on NBC every night. And it might be rude to make them switch channels. And so Johnny engineered the exact same deal with NBC, which set him up for life because he'd always been a screw up with money.
Wow.
And that solidified that.
How long was he on after that? When did he retire?
Well, what he did was he decided, like everybody wants to be something they're not, right? And Johnny was not immune to that. Johnny wanted to be, he was probably a little jealous of MTM Productions and all the other big sitcom outfits. He wanted to produce sitcoms. And so he got this deal out of NBC that would let him host the show, cut it back from 90 minutes to an hour, which affected us.
Right.
Because
A lot less spots.
He would still let comics on, but it was a tight 6 minutes.
Yeah. Like you could, no freedom, no play. Yeah.
Who it killed were the authors and what everybody was talking about at the time. It killed real conversation. Everything just became a quick little da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Get your advertisement
Like
in.
we're all doing a 10-minute set. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
It's like boom, boom, boom. You got hit.
And so he was given a production company and the ability to present pilots to NBC. What Johnny didn't know was he was going to have to pay for those pilots.
Oh, geez.
And he didn't like that at all.
No.
Yeah.
And he hired a brilliant guy, John McMahon, to head Johnny Carson Productions. And the first thing he did was to get rid of Letterman, give him a talk show of his own, and move him to New York.
Smart.
So you're out
Get
of the
him
way.
out of the house,
Okay?
yeah.
Okay. And so Dave packed up like a good soldier and went to New York under Johnny Carson Productions.
Okay.
Wow.
And so Johnny started doing these sitcom pilots, and only one of them worked, and it was about a black preacher and his middle-class family on Friday night, and none of the other 6 ones worked. And Johnny hired Ed Weinberger from MTM to come over and do it, and he got into a heated, angry brawl with Weinberger because Johnny was sitting in rehearsal writing jokes for it because he's a natural joke writer. And Weinberger said, that's not how sitcoms work.
Yeah.
It's all out of situation and acting. And Johnny said, don't tell me what's funny.
Yeah.
It all dissolved.
Wow. Yeah. That is insane.
And so Johnny called his lawyer, who wrote this book about Johnny. He called his lawyer, Bushkin, doing a secret deal with Weinberger, and he fired Bushkin, and Bushkin got even with Johnny after Johnny died with that book that came out
a lot of
5 years ago.
backstabbing in Hollywood, yeah?
No, well,
You know what? I think it's respectful,
I get
though. If
stabbed
you
in
wait
the
until they
front.
die, then, that's when you release it.
never
you know?
die.
I'll tell you that Mitzi
Never
used to,
die. That's when the bad stuff
That's
really
right.
comes out.
Mitzi used to say, one time she asked me to help her write a book, and I was like, I could barely read a book, but okay, let's do this, and she was like, no, like a coffee table book. So she wanted to do a coffee table book for like Vegas, all the Vegas acts and everything, and she had all this stuff, and it was great, like awesome, getting to be involved in it and whatever. What's happening? Oh, they need Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'll finish that story. No, but Sarah Tiana, guys, thank you for stepping in.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out her Rick Talks to Strangers. Sarah is the brains behind all of it.
That's
Rick
true.
does
The
nothing.
brains.
That's absolutely
Rick's the
true.
shit that does nothing.
I'm the face.
Sarah's the.
I'm
okay,
there
you're
for the pretty
bad.
face.
You are the face.
He's the pretty
Thank you,
face
guys.
and the good hair.
Thank you, Sarah.
But Sarah's been producing. Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Sarah
Thank
Tiana,
you,
we
Sarah.
love you. Thank you so much for stepping in.
I love working with her.
She's
great.
so good. Wait, that camera just went. That's okay. He'll come fix it. He just hit the camera. That's okay. We're gonna look at the ceiling for a while.
Argus, what? I have a question. What's the craziest night you have wasted, and the
What was that
craziest night you had sober, or best night, I guess, at the Comedy Store?
Wow, that's a good question, Rick.
Wow.
I like that.
Because I feel like for me, the Comedy Store has been two different places. With regard to the first few years I was here, there was almost no one here, crowd-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was drinking every night,
Yeah.
smoking pot, and I have a lot of really great
You
memories.
kids couldn't afford Coke, too.
Oh yeah, no, we couldn't
I'm
have.
so sorry.
On
And
$25 a night.
The
Oh,
only
no.
the only people bringing it around were so creepy. You didn't even want to do it.
Yeah, right.
You know how
Yeah.
bad, how creepy you have to be
Yeah,
to
these
not
were
want to
like
do
weed
coke with
guys.
it.
Probably cut it with fentanyl.
Yeah,
and kill you.
and I'm a pure fentanyl guy. You know,
I don't like to cut with cocaine.
Fentanyl.
I've always been that way. Give me the pure fent,
Fentanyl
as we
ruin
call
your
it.
cocaine.
But yeah, so I have like great memories of stuff where I'm just like, that's one of the funniest nights I ever had. But no comedy happened. I probably went up for like 4 people at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I stopped partying, and then people started showing up at the Comedy Store.
Right.
And so then my memories of the last 10 years is, you know, getting to perform in a club that is just packed with great crowds.
And the time, though, flies by these last
Yes.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's what you're learning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It
you
does.
You get out of that party mode, and suddenly the days become the same, and the nights become the same.
Yeah.
You remember the great crowds, but the time goes faster the older you get.
Yeah.
Once you get into that routine.
Well, the first year, it felt like time was going in slow motion.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, how many hours are in this day?
Yeah, first-
24? Do we need that many hours?
First year of sobriety, man.
Yeah. It was just like,
Wow. I did.
so why do people want to do this?
Yeah.
So you'd say, so you'll live longer? No, it'll just seem longer.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
right.
exactly what they do. 'Cause now you got to think about every moment that's passing. Yeah.
Well, my best night sober, gosh, there's so many of them.
See, that's amazing, though.
My best night sober, looking back,
Yeah.
was a Tonight Show shot in December of '89, when the crowd wouldn't let me off, wouldn't let me off.
Yeah.
Johnny called me over, and then I sat down. We had a great time, and I walked past Freddie DeCordova afterwards, and I said, just out of nowhere, I said, "This is show business."
Nice.
Yeah.
Just feeling like
Yeah, it's
the
just
electricity
feeling,
going
yeah,
through
yeah.
you.
Were you sober?
Yeah, I was 3 years
Oh,
sober at the
wow.
time. I was 3 years sober. At the
So
time.
you
Yeah, I-
lived every moment of
Yeah,
that.
I was firing on all.
He was
pistons.
getting that high, that natural
That's
comedy
right.
high.
Pure endorphins.
Yeah.
Pure, the same endorphins that blow gives you, but
Sure.
you don't have to explain things the next day.
Exactly right.
What do you mean? I don't know where that hooker went. No, like
There was too many crazy nights.
yeah.
I mean, nuts.
Wild.
Up at Crest Hill, we'd have Robin, all of us would be a dozen and a half comics, while your guy Dice would just be back in his bedroom,
Yeah, he was in the
rehearsing
maid's
by
quarters.
himself.
Yeah.
you know?
He was actually working on his act. You guys were partying.
Yeah, we were
kind
raising
of, what kind of animal?
True story. Yakov really did. Have you heard him tell this story?
I don't
He
think
woke
so.
up on a Sunday morning about 10 o'clock. We're all passed out everywhere. He thought we had been eating powdered donuts, and he cleaned off the table with a wet rag.
No.
Completely.
Wow.
I mean, I can't believe you guys didn't put him on a boat back to the USSR. That
With
kind
a
of party
big
foul.
hat on him and send him.
I can't believe we left
Oh
it there in
my
the first
God.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's my leftover
Oh, my
cocaine joke.
goodness.
Whoa, these donuts are everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
what did he think? Wow. He
But-
didn't party?
He was trying. Yaakov was trying to figure
but-
out how to import BMWs from Germany or whatever his side
You're
gig
not
was.
wrong. You're not
You're
wrong.
not wrong. You know what
Yeah.
he actually did?
Yeah.
It was like Rolls Royces or something.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
He worked for a year with under Mitzi doing the windows and screwing everything in under his dad. He was a master carpenter, whatever people who screw things in.
Reupholster everything.
Everything. And he went to Europe, bought 2 Rolls Royces, shipped them back, sold one here, paid for both of them.
Smart.
Okay, and in the most natural capitalist ever raised in the Soviet Union.
That's exactly. he came here with a scheme, and it worked out. He's like, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
But in the summer of '79, we would be up until 4 a.m. And when it turned winter that year, speaking of Carson, he did a 60-minute interview talking about his drinking problem that December.
Johnny did.
And we stayed up and partied in his honor. And about 2 in the morning, we're still somehow a stripper comes up to Crest Hill. Someone produces a stripper.
Somehow.
Yeah. Okay. But it's cold.
Yeah. As it happens to be, it's December.
So we take.
Did she freeze?
No. We had her in front of the fireplace.
Smart.
Okay. We ran out of wood, so we went
over.
Like
a story about a bunch of goddamn gentlemen, Eleanor.
So wait a minute, it gets worse.
We took her clothes.
We went over and we got Mitzi's dining room chairs.
That makes perfect sense.
Put them in the fire to keep her warm while she's stripping.
Yeah.
And we did not know that the chairs were oil-based paint. These cheap
my God.
paint.
Yeah.
So black smoke comes pouring out of the chimney. The fire department comes.
They thought there was a new pope.
The fire department comes, and we invite the guys in, and we got pictures of margaritas. The fire department guys stayed there for 15, 20 minutes having a margarita with it.
Oh, that's on the best list, or
that sounds like an average Tuesday at Crest Hill in '79.
Well, okay. The worst thing was when Biff and I squared off in the belly room. We were both drunk
this
out
is
of
Biff
our
Maynard.
Biff Maynard. Rick,
let's just say he had been the bouncer at the Palomino Club in the Valley, which was the country western bar that had the country western station.
He's real tall.
It was a real country western place.
Yeah.
It flourished in the late '70s during the urban cowboy rage.
Right.
And Biff was the bouncer there and best friends with Tim Thomerson.
Tim Thomerson.
Yep.
Tim Thomerson. And Biff was a really gifted gag writer and stuff like that, and he helped Tim build his act. And he would just get violent. He'd get really violent when we got drunk. And somehow he squared off with me. And I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter.
You were a frat guy at Oklahoma, though. So
he's like a Langley guy.
And something happened. I don't know what happened, but I hit him, and I almost wanted to apologize. and then he hit me, and he knocked me 5 feet in the air backwards, landed on my keister. Okay, and I said, "Man, that was great, Biff. Great shot." And that kind of that mollified him. Okay,
you were even positive in the getting knocked out.
No, I needed to mollify him.
Yeah.
Okay, because man alive, I'd been like hit by a truck. And so the next afternoon, when everybody's there together, Mitzi's really mad at me, okay? I said, why? She said,
that's my Biffy.
No, you broke his nose. I went, oh, no, now he's really going to be mad at me. And Mitzi said, it's okay. I got it all fixed up. I said, how'd you get it all fixed up? She said, well, there is a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills who sexually assaulted me when I was at Wisconsin. And he's owed me ever since.
Wow.
And so
who presses charges when you can cash in on it?
She'd been holding this bet
for
30 years. She'd been holding this mark.
The Godfather paid up.
and he
fixed Biff.
So he fixed Biff's nose for free.
Wow.
And we all lived happily ever because, and for no small reason, because he gave Biff liquid cocaine to keep his nose,
Smart.
Yeah.
Which just gets you there, man.
Liquid cocaine. A doctor gave liquid cocaine.
Oh, yeah, all plastic surgeons have it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Wow, I forgot about that.
That was the happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're like, man, I'm so glad I punched Biff.
I'm glad Biff's happy is what I'm glad.
What year was this about?
Huh? 79?
81. It was when things had turned dark by then.
Dark in what way?
For me.
The party had started going too far.
Yeah. I crossed the invisible line.
What year did Mitzi send Alan Stevens and Ollie Joe to get you to take you to rehab?
It was November 3rd, 1986.
Yeah.
But I had 5 rehabs, one each.
Prior to
Every November I would go out. I mean, every November I would check back in. Every August I would go out with about 9 months because I wouldn't do the 4th and 5th step.
Wow.
And the 12th step stuff.
Well, I laugh because Argus and Ollie are probably Alan and Ollie are 2 of the most party guys.
Yeah.
To take you to that's hysterical.
And Alan Stephen tells the story. He said, first of all, we stopped in Palm Springs at Tony Roma's and drank shots and ate.
Oh my gosh.
Ate ribs and drank beer, and then we went to 15 miles east of downtown Palm Springs is Rancho Mirage.
Yeah.
That's where Betty Ford Center is.
Oh, okay.
So
I've only been to drop off and pick up, but yes.
Well, we get near the center, and I say, "Wait a minute, guys! Johnny and Mitzi and my dad have given me no choice. I've got to get well this time. Let's have one more 6-pack. Let's just find let's find a 7-Eleven. Let's find a 7-Eleven, and we'll go get a 6-pack." For 35 or 40 minutes, we drove around Rancho Mirage. Couldn't find anything. And at Betty Ford reunions, I don't know which was funnier. Me thinking another 6-pack was going to fix me, or me thinking there was a 7-Eleven in Rancho Mirage. That's called insanity.
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
And so as Alan tells the story, he and Ollie Joe, they pull in, and they take my luggage up to the intake nurse. And the intake nurse says, 2. And they fall over laughing. And Alan says, no, wait till you see what's in the car. And Alan says, Argus comes walking in a white suit looking like Jack Kennedy.
Oh, my God.
Just ready.
Just that. But so I think, Al, I'm the top of this story, okay? Till I find out a year later, they drove back to L.A. They had an 8-ball on them they didn't tell me about.
Wow. Those are not friends. No, those are not friends.
Well, in their defense, they did have a 2-hour drive back.
All right, yeah.
They needed
but they said, Argus, you would have been a wasted blow because you were getting well.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Don't
a great
do
line.
cocaine, it'll ruin your drinking.
Yeah. Good call.
That's an Argus joke. I used to do a joke because I was dating, you remember I had my ex that you helped me with the, is that your phone?
Yeah. Never untreated Al-Anon.
Yeah. There you go. So you helped me with my ex when he was using. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but I called you. You were the only person I could think of to call, and you talked me through it and got me through it. But so when I started doing comedy, I kept meeting guys that were like, sober, not sober, just messes. I'm not a good picker, my mom says.
Yeah.
And so I used to
Eleanor
do a joke.
likes a project.
That's true. Betty Ford, person or place. That's how I would ask people that when I would meet guys.
Yeah.
And if they said person, I'd be like, all right, we can go on a date. Because most people didn't even know it was a person. They knew it was a place. They knew it was just where you get sober.
That's what I'm like, I guess it is named after a person. That makes
sense.
sense.
I'll give you a good irony, Quickie. The reason I was able to check in so quickly was because Chevy Chase was there. His daughter was
great,
wonderful girl. He was there because he'd gotten addicted to painkillers.
Right.
But he didn't like the chores you've got to do in the morning, cleaning up after yourself.
That makes sense.
And after about 2 weeks, he went over the fence, and that gave the opening. They called the Comedy Store. I've been on the waiting list, and Becker got me right on. Michael Becker got me right in, and that did it. But the funny part is when you stop and think about it.
If he didn't hop that
Chevy, no, wait a minute, Chevy, you're onto this. Chevy Chase was there for painkillers, right? He had hurt his back initially on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Doing.
I don't know.
Gerald Ford.
Impressions.
Oh my!
He winds up in Betty Ford for doing Gerald Ford. He hurt his back doing Gerald Ford.
That's so him.
The
I
Pratt
didn't
Falls,
know that. Wow. Yes.
I just remember being like, "This isn't that good of an impression," and then he'd fall, and I'd be like, "It is funny though."
Yeah.
Right, because he fell.
That was just
walking off.
Gerald Ford fell over.
Yeah.
Well, it was crazy because the first HBO special at the Comedy Store was Chevy's. Really? And it was in '76, and that's back when HBO was called Home Box Office.
Yes, right.
And it opened with Chevy and 2 of the comics doing lines backstage.
classic.
Yeah.
That's
now, did this ever
it was
air?
the 70s.
Where is it?
Yes, that was the opening of the Chevy
On
Chase.
HBO.
That's how it opened. You know, they showed cocaine piled up.
I don't think I ever saw it.
No, that's what
amazing.
the 76 was like, in late 76.
Now that's a beautiful time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was partying hard with the National Lampoon guy still. The guy who started it might have just died in 76, but around then.
Wait, what's his name that I'm thinking
Doug
of?
Kenny?
Doug Kenny, yeah.
Yeah.
Doug, it was so tragic. He was the one. He's the reason there's Animal House.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
you know that story.
He's Stork in
Yeah.
Animal House, but
Yeah.
he's
And
also the writer.
and this is all about his 1964 high school graduation class. 3 years before Animal House, the Lampoon, which everybody, all the baby boomers read it every month.
Yeah.
The magazine. It was
wow.
religion.
Okay.
Yeah.
It savaged everything.
If you were a funny person anywhere, you were reading the Lampoon.
Exactly.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
Here's how I'll give you an example of how savage it was on both sides. Okay, it would show a classic old Volkswagen ad. Okay, and the banner says just like a mock Volkswagen ad, a Beetle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If Teddy Kennedy had driven a Volkswagen, he'd be president today. It says it floats.
Wow.
And boom, it showed a black guy with a college scholarship, college gown on, and a cap.
Yeah.
Full page ad.
Okay.
It was a takeoff on the the Negro College Fund.
Okay.
Okay, and the takeoff said, and then the motto back then was, a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Right.
Okay, and then the punchline in this is, and so is a strong back.
Wow.
Oh, and
Wow.
and it shows the guy, he's holding up a quantum physics book.
Wow.
This is this is National Lampoon
Yeah.
laughing at everything.
Oh my God.
And
that's...
you can imagine what they did to Nixon. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was just
There
savage.
was nobody that wasn't. They went through everybody. They
Now,
went
and
after
then
everybody.
it completely faded because all the writers went to work for Saturday Night Live in '75.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what happened to the Lampoon.
Right.
Yeah, and that infuriated Doug Kenny.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
so
those guys.
Kenny, and Chevy and Kenny's bride, right,
Yeah.
go to Mexico, and that's when Kenny jumps off the
I
cliff.
think they were in Hawaii.
Hawaii and jumps
Yeah.
off a cliff.
Yeah.
Kills
Wow.
himself.
Yeah, he was there partying with Chevy, and then Chevy left, and then they just found his shoes
Yeah.
on top of a cliff.
What if
But-
he's just hiding somewhere?
Well, they found his body,
Oh, fuck.
but they don't know whether he fell or he
But
jumped.
the whole thing was based on I didn't get to it, was the 1964 high school annual that they published in '74. Okay, and it was a high school annual, softback. Okay, and it was brilliantly put together with pictures and everything. It was all Doug Kenny.
Right.
And Kenny was, which one was he in Animal House?
He was Stork.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell are we supposed to do, you moron?
No. No, that's who he actually was.
Yeah.
Okay, but the guy,
Oh,
the guy who
who was he supposed to
the
be?
guy who played his character,
Yeah.
who played
Oh.
him, was the guy who played Mozart, who won the Academy Award for Mozart.
Yeah.
The guy, he was on the football field having sex for the first time with
Yes,
a girl.
the nervous kid.
Otter. or the-
Yeah.
Not Otter.
no.
Otter's
Pinto.
the heavy kid.
Pinto.
Pinto.
Yeah.
Okay, that's who Doug Kenny was. He was the nervous guy. That,
Like
Right.
technically, that was what it was
Yeah,
based on.
that's-
Right.
yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Wow.
And that's what I've been telling these kids. I've been getting a good response on stage saying in the '70s we all got along because we all made fun of each other.
Exactly.
No sacred cows.
And
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
And I would ask you, since you interact with crowds so directly,
Yeah.
are which way are you going with that?
All of the ways.
Yeah, you go take it anywhere you want.
Is that what you do?
Yeah,
Same.
and
'Cause I go home early.
one thing I do when I go out is I attack the crowd right off the bat.
Yeah.
For how I'm not going to put up with them with their fucking I'm offended by everything bullshit.
Right,
So
right,
if that's what you're going to do, go vape
And you
and
feel
be
the
a
relief
victim.
laughter, right?
Yeah, you do.
feel
You
the
can
relief.
wait in the lobby if you want.
My line is like, you guys should just go vape and talk about what victims you are. And then no one in the crowd
Go vape
wants
and talk about what victims you are.
Yeah.
no one wants to be that person. So then they're all like, oh no, I laugh. I like laughing at stuff.
And the point is in both of it is we are who we are.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So stop trying to improve us. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. That's my biggest issue with all this stuff, with all the hyper PC stuff, and is like it's not changing anyone's mind.
No, as long as we're laughing with each other.
Yeah.
Everybody, no harm, no foul.
Mock all that deserves to be mocked, whatever it is, both sides of political spectrum, whatever it is.
What was this ginned up anger at Dave Chappelle?
Oh, that is so wild. And I was reading a thing. Somebody said, the thing that makes me the maddest is that he said gender is a fact. And I'm like, wait, what did he say wrong? Did I miss something?
But you can't. No, that's not the world we live in anymore.
That's not the world.
There is no anything anymore. If you believe there's anything, that's offensive to something.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're right. I guess. It just threw me off because I was waiting to find out what they were mad at. And she kept saying, once you say gender's not a fact, you're offending my child. And I was like, I don't even know if you know what you're saying. Like, it just. So I just
He's paraphrasing John Bradshaw's Inner Child. I don't know what they're doing.
That's I don't know who John Bradshaw is.
He was the inner child guru of the late 80s and early 90s. That it's not your fault. It's that inner child inside you that's crying for love and attention.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I'm a firm believer of nothing is my fault. It's that general essence of growing up in that mind. Yeah, trust me, it is definitely
my parents
you.
told me I was the problem constantly. You were always the blame. Like if I got in trouble in school, she would never go. Like parents now would go to the teacher and say, well, what's your problem? Whereas my mother would go, what did you do? Get over here. Like even the teacher could be like punching me in the face. And my mother, what did you do? And
you'd have to do something
Eleanor,
to deserve that.
It made you funny.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the price we pay. This is the life we have chosen.
We're trying. We're trying. Yeah. My mom actually got a teacher fired once.
John Pate's got the greatest line. Y'all ever know John Pate?
I know of
sweet guy. Alabama.
Oh, we just said his name the other day. That's why I'm like, why do I know that?
Alabama, Youth for Christ, Southern Baptist.
Okay.
And he was a doorman over at Westwood with me and Binder, and he wound up being a host over at the Improv on Melrose.
Okay.
Super guy, clean, great guy. To this day, does Christian comedy. Okay.
Wow.
Right. And he's got this line when he was in the 6th grade. He said this actually happened. Because he was known for being mischievous, like we all were.
So he's an adult for Christ as well, not just.
He was a child. He was a child with Calvinistic self-will at the time.
Oh Jesus!
and it's November 22nd, 1963, about noon in Alabama. The principal comes over the PA system and says, "Students, I have to tell you, President Kennedy has just been shot."
Oh.
John Pate, please come to the principal's office right now.
Good setup.
Everybody in the room said, "You're going to get it now."
Guilty as charged. We know who did this.
My goodness.
Exactly. You just had me on the floor the first time I heard that.
That's so funny.
That's so silly.
I think that describes a lot of us. So, that's how I was. Even if my family activities, I had my dad's side of the family. It didn't matter who tore the curtains down. 100%, I was getting blamed as the man who did it. And half the time it was me, for sure.
Just half?
Yeah, half of it. Now, I'm like, there's 13 other people pulling this shit down.
Oh, okay.
70% of the time.
People are establishing no bail today for less than half. Come on.
That's exactly right.
You're not
the
wrong.
system is broken.
Now get in the car and head for that Christmas parade. It's not your fault.
By the way, your Facebook, where you put your jokes out, I've seen them on Facebook. I've seen them retweet it on Instagram, and they're hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. How much do you write every day?
Well, I have an obligation to a bunch of newspapers.
Right.
And 13 jokes a day.
Today? Even now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Who still puts out newspapers? That's amazing.
Eleanor, come on.
Sorry.
America still reads newspapers.
I like USA Today.
People in flyover country read their local papers.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Okay.
And what happened was right after Leno and Letterman sewed up the late night time slots, I got an opportunity to start with the Daily Oklahoman and shoot them a monologue every day.
Oh, that's great. Is it online or just actual paper?
Actual paper.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. But it's five days a week, 13 jokes a day.
Okay.
And more, you all know the drill. It just gives me discipline,
100%.
The money you make out of that may pay the rent in West Hollywood every month, but the point is that discipline.
Right.
But anything
just to keep the work
topical
going.
happens, I wait for your jokes to come up. I think they're great.
Well, I'm total, in agreement with Rick, because I will not tolerate being told what I can and cannot say.
100%. Why should you?
Yeah.
Why should any comic?
Well, I think you have one of the most unique stories, because you were a hyper effective, vivacious waitress, and I always wondered what was it that made you decide to be a comic. Did you come to work at the Comedy Store with the idea of becoming a comic, or did
No.
you just? I didn't think so.
Not, and that's why Mitzi and I got along so well. Is that I
You
never
weren't
wanted
lobbying.
to be a comic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't lobbying for any job and when people would come over and try to use her for whatever it was, you know how they were.
What year did you get here?
93.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I was talking about the book she wanted us to write. I'm sorry. And then Sarah had to leave, but she wanted me to do the coffee table book with her for Vegas.
Yeah.
And then we'd sit there and she'd tell me all these stories. And I was like, you should write a book. What are you doing? And she'd tell me like these wild stories, whether they were about comics or her own personal life, outside of the Comedy Store. Insane stories. And then she's like, I'll do it when they all die. I was like, wait a minute.
She doesn't want to defame anyone. I'm not trying to blow anyone's cover, but if they go before me, we're going to put these out.
Now what do we do?
She knows about legal exceptionalism. She does.
Oh, 100%.
Because in the divorce,
she had the great Marvin Mitchelson.
She became the
created
first woman ever to get the house and the business and the kids. First woman in California history.
Now, some people will say, "Oh, well, he just gave it to her." I'm like, "No, he did not.
No,
she fought for that every day."
He would have been a fool not to fight for the Comedy Store.
100%.
And I've met Rudy DeLuca, sweetest guy I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I can see him easily giving up his share. He was just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I met him at Sammy's funeral.
I think I only met him like once or twice, but yeah, you're right.
Just
He's so nice, so
a great
cool.
sense of humor.
Yeah, just chill guy. I feel like he was at something at the Laugh Factory too. Maybe it was Mooney's. Something we did at the Laugh Factory, like a memorial service.
Yeah,
he
for
showed
someone.
up at. It might have been Mooney. That he showed up at, or something like that. But he was so sweet, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
I remember him there. It wasn't Mooney. It was
it was Sammy's.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Sammy.
I keep thinking we did Sammy's here, and we did it there.
We did it there.
That's crazy that they did it.
Sammy still wasn't allowed here for his own funeral.
Yeah.
No. The lawyer is not done.
That was in the
Sammy.
will. It was the last thing she's had.
Get it out of here.
The strangest thing I ever saw, I've seen ghosts out of the side of my eye, but this I can attest to definitely. Mitzi went into the Twilight Zone sometime around 2010, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. But just around the time of her 70th birthday, when we had that big party at her house.
Sure.
And about...
That was her 80th.
That was her 80th. I'm sorry.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
And about 6 years later, we would go over to the house, the cottage by now, and say hi to her once a week. I know Eleanor went there a lot. And Charlie Hill, we found out, was dying. And I had his number, and Charlie knew he was dying.
Yeah.
And so I went over to Mitzi's, and I dialed Charlie's number, and he very weakly said, "Oh," I said, "Charlie, listen, I got Mitzi right here on the line. You know how she is, but she just wants to hear your voice. I know she'd want to hear your voice." So Charlie gets on the line with her. I swear to God, as I'm sitting here, she snaps right back into reality.
I believe it.
She talks to him cogently for 10 minutes, telling him how much she loved him, how much he meant to her. She'll see him soon enough.
Crazy.
And I mean, you were so wonderful. I love you so much. God, you became such a great symbol. And how I love sitting on the front row at the Richard Pryor special, watching you do your first set on national TV. She was right on the front row.
Oh, yeah.
And she started crying, and she handed me the phone, and I said, "Love you, Charlie. We'll see you in the room upstairs," and hung up. And she's back in the Twilight Zone.
Wow.
Man.
Isn't that
But
crazy?
I swear to God, she went right, snapped right in.
That's amazing.
Charlie, of all people, deserves it, too.
I was going to say, Charlie can bring it out
One
of
of
you.
the few
Charlie,
people-
bring it
yeah.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie's got enough spiritual.
Mitzi,
I love
quickly,
Charlie.
all my first trips to La Jolla were because Mitzi felt she had found the new replacement for her Cowboys and Indians Thanksgiving weekend shows.
That makes perfect sense.
They called me, and Duncan was talent coordinator. He's like, "Hey man, you want to go to San Diego for a weekend?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "How about Thanksgiving?" I'm like, "I don't have any plans over Thanksgiving. This is great." And he's like, "Cool, you're gonna go with Charlie Hill," and I'm just like, "I don't even know who that is." And so then I'm looking it up. I'm like, I'm staying in a condo with this guy?
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I'm like, I went down. I had my bag of weed. I'm like, I probably can't even smoke in here. I'm all just like bummed out. Like, I'm on the beach in San Diego. I can't even get stoned. And Charlie walks in. And he says hi. He seems nice enough. Goes in the room. Comes back out. Sits down on the couch. I'm like, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. You know, trying to small talk. And he's like, well, I can smell it. Are you going to smoke that pot or not? I was like, yeah.
That's my Indian. That's a real Indian right there.
And then they told me when I got to the Comedy Store that night, they're like, so you're the cowboy for the Cowboys and Indians? I'm like, what? No one had even told me.
Rick.
And then when I
Cowboys
asked Mitzi,
and
she goes,
Indians.
I'm not a cowboy, though. And she goes, you said you're from Kansas. I was like,
that's where they all live.
Fair enough.
You're lucky she didn't make you wear a hat. I mean,
yeah, so true. She wasn't there, thank
Just
God.
ask Jackson Purdue about the aqua tie story. I mean, she means it when she decorates
wasn't
it.
she like, it's in your aura? She didn't like the color of his aura, so I gotta have Jackson on because he's so funny.
Yeah.
But she didn't like the color of his aura, and she
And
fired
she said,
him.
an aqua tie would be perfect for you. And I just happened to have an aqua tie upstairs at the Dune, so I went up and got an aqua tie, and I brought it down, and I thought Jackson would be so happy. He just glared at
He's like,
Sneal.
where the fuck did you get that?
So he goes on stage, and to my memory,
the aqua tie?
to my memory, he murdered, but he'll tell the truth.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Jackson, very funny. But I didn't know she would. I knew she would mess with him, like not mess with him, but be like, you know, she got into weird stuff. So she was like, your aura's purple. It's not working out right now. And he's like, really? I'm not going to get sponsed because of an aura I can't see? But she would do wild stuff like that.
Well, she was an art major at Wisconsin. So that's where that comes from.
That's true.
Whether it's right or not, that's what she did see it.
Yeah.
That was her, you know, she always had some kind of something going on.
I gave her a metaphor, and she hung with it all the time. I must have been in big trouble because I was really good at kissing her ass when I was in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, you know, each lineup, you're an art student, and each lineup is your painting, you know, and that's what you paint for the audience's enjoyment every night. That's your painting. And I was out of trouble.
Yeah, she said, "Oh, that's good."
Okay.
Argus is good.
What are you doing
I make
later?
Eddie Haskell look like an amateur, man.
Did you get in trouble a lot?
The smooth talker.
Yeah. I've got it.
I think everybody did, but you probably more
I'm
so.
at the age of 5, okay? Age of 5. I'm at the Village Methodist Church in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's my father's first big break. He gets a small church out of seminary with 500 people in it, but it's just the direction all of the World War II veterans are moving into in Oklahoma City, right?
Okay.
Booming suburbia.
Yeah.
And Dad takes it from 500 members to 4,000 members in 5 years, and it makes my dad's career.
He's a draw.
Yeah. So, he was on Oklahoma City television every week, too. They would do the services live. Okay. So I'm 5 years old competing for that kind of attention.
Yeah.
And
you got to bring the A gun.
I do it, too. Watch this.
Oh, I believe it.
It's Christmas nativity time, okay? And I'm supposed to walk out with Jesus and the donkeys and Joseph and baby Jesus and the animals, and I'm supposed to sing a cappella, Away in the Manger, okay? I'm 5 years old. So, and I'm easily impressionable, all right?
Sure.
So on the way there, I hear Perry Como sing this really hot swing number on the radio.
Yeah.
And I decided to myself, this would be better than Away in a Manger.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch of squares. Come on. So
making it cool.
So they do the little trill, and I go. In fact, and there's maybe like 1,200 people in the fellowship hall, packed in there, watching their little darling baby boomer kids.
Yeah,
the cherub choir they call it. And I stood there in front of the manger and sang, "Oh, hot diggity, dog ziggity, boom, what you do to me. It's so new to me. What you do to me, hot diggity, dog ziggity, boom, what you do to me. When you're holding me tight, bum, bum." And the people just went berserk. They went nuts. I was halfway through the second one. Never thought that my heart could go sing that away, ting-a-ling that away, make it sing that away. And they just laughed me off the stage. And
you got the bug right there.
There was nothing my parents could do to me.
Yeah.
You killed
Just crush
your first time.
set. Yeah.
That was my first kill. You never
Even
get
then, you were like, I'm not doing what they want.
No.
I do what I want. You can't
I'm just
censor me.
I'm just like you, right?
Eleanor, if they don't let Eleanor do what she wants, she will attack them with a sawed-off bat.
That's
Did you give him a little of this and a little of that?
I give him a little. I almost hurt my shoulder.
Eleanor,
That's it.
you can't be
I try
swinging them around like
I
that.
pretend I have tits. It's a fake bra. Sorry, Argus. Sometimes
Argus
I get
is here.
perverted.
Come on, be classy.
Yeah, sit up straight, Eleanor. Argus
please
is
sit
here.
up a
He's
little straighter.
all
Yeah,
classy.
yeah, oh yeah.
Sit up straighter. What? Anyway, I'm such a pervert. I don't know what's wrong with me. We were just talking about. Well, we didn't. They weren't recording, but Rick. We were talking about. Am I an upper girl or a downer girl? And I don't really do drugs. I don't know. But he said, when you drink, how do you act?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if I drink, if I do, like, I love Jameson. I love the way I feel. I don't know why. And then I could just.
Is Jameson's the Protestant whiskey or the Catholic whiskey?
Catholic,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think. I'm just going to say Catholic because I am and I don't want to get in trouble,
Yeah,
but I think it's
yeah.
Catholic. So, because one time I was with these guys from Ireland and they were like, oh, yeah, Jameson, that's the right one.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I didn't get beat up. So I thought that was the good one. And anyway, so I love Jameson, but if I do it, I'll either fight everybody in the room or fuck everybody in the room.
Right.
Either way, there's casualties. So
Irish
Rick said,
to the bone.
I don't know if that's my
I said
Irish
she's an
or I'm
upper.
an upper.
Yeah.
I mean,
That sounds like an upper, like you would enjoy uppers more than downers.
Yeah.
Like my ex was shooting up speedballs. Is that up?
No, if you like,
or is that a mix?
No, if you like to go down, you'd be a pothead that went to Valium, that went to heroin, and you would find down.
Yeah. Okay, so I would.
Yeah, the guys that like to go down that stop
I
it
do
in
like
time.
to go down.
The guys that go down in West Hollywood, the people that go down, they're able to parachute are the ones that stay on pot. But if you go go past pot, it's goodbye.
Yeah.
It's after that is when we.
Yeah.
No, they said it's 9:30.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. So,
well, thank you for being on, Argus. You
this
were
was
a
great.
blessing.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for jumping in. You're awesome.
When they said you might come down, I'm like, man, that's awesome. I hope he shows up.
Well,
I didn't know if we could book you, Argus. You know what I mean?
It's a tough get, and people always ask, "Can you get Argus?" I swear, people ask.
People know
all the
you
time.
have stories, so.
Well, I love the Comedy Store, and just like you two, I love the audiences that come here.
Yeah.
And the effort we put into interviews like this, I hope that the people that are listening and watching can feel the love, because we love you all, and we love it when you come here, and we love entertaining you.
And we have every decade covered. So every comic that goes on brings a different element, a different decade.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, in closing, I've really fallen in love with the millennials, and I figured out what it
Really?
was. They love a naughty uncle, okay?
Oh.
We baby boomers in the 80s
I like
loved
where you're
Dangerfield.
going with this.
Yeah.
And so if I play that character, I said, I've got the best line right now that lets them know they're safe with me. When Johnny and Mitzi and my dad forced me to get well, I say, listen, if there's one thing in my life I'd like to share with you right now, if it can be an example and a lesson to you, it's this. Never get well until you're cornered.
That's so good.
Not wrong, guys.
Just explodes, and they go, "Okay, we can trust him."
Yeah, he's all right.
He's a good guy, right?
Say, you're young, your bodies can take it. Hang out as long as you can.
Keep it going as long as
I
you can.
did.
I love when you say that.
Two cokeheads will drive you to Betty Ford like I got.
Do you have anything to promote? What papers are you in? Or
no,
what about your Facebook?
No, I'm working right now with Mike Binder on bringing back Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight.
Perfect. And you've been going live, correct?
Well, we don't know. We're gonna right now. We're thinking about shooting 6 episodes in the main room and doing it right.
Okay.
And then shipping it.
Got it.
And then maybe
Perfect.
getting Rick as the guest host.
There you go. See, Rick will be just hosting every podcast. Don't forget to check out Rick's
I'm in on that.
Talks to Strangers.
Yeah, Rick Ingram Talks to Strangers.
Rick Ingram Talks to Strangers is very funny
Well,
as
if anybody respects my opinion, Rick is the sharpest of all the millennial comics, the sharpest.
I agree.
And for 10 years, I've been trying to get him to host a talk show where instead of an opening monologue, he simply talks to the crowd.
That's exactly what he's doing on Rick Talks to Strangers. So there it is.
Just
Sarah Tiana is the producer.
You got an audience and everything?
Yeah, sometimes he does.
We do live. We do a live show. We've done one. We're doing another one in December.
So now you're going to work your way up and keep working your way up.
Yeah.
But that's the thing for you. It's unique, and
people like being a part of it.
And it's writer-proof. I mean,
100%.
Exactly.
Yep.
They
and
can
it's
all
all
go
Rick.
on strike.
Yep. It's all Rick.
So anything I can do to help you, let me know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, and I'll be at the Brokerage Comedy Club on Long Island New Year's Eve.
Wow.
2 shows, so come out, please. If you're in Long Island, if not, come to the Comedy Store. See Rick, Argus.
Thank you so
Eleanor.
Much. She's brilliant. I mean, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Especially when she sits up real straight.
Hold on. Look at this. I'm going to throw my back
There's a
out.
lot of steam in this room.
Guys, Comedy Store Podcast is back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave us your negative and positive comments, mostly negative.
You can follow me at Rick Ingram. I only accept positivity in my life.
The new Rick is here, and EJ Kerrigan still with the negativity, but like and subscribe.